Do you struggle to get topspin and drive on your two-handed backhand? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you what Nadal has taught me about his backhand and how he can achieve both topspin and drive. Because if there isn't some player out there who can achieve a bunch of topspin but also drive through the ball, it's Nadal. And so I want to show you three main things that he does that's so important that you can start implementing in your backhand to have more topspin and drive. So let's get started. The reason why this is so important is because having topspin on your backhand means you have some margin, but being able to drive with topspin means you're not just stuck with, let's say, spinning the ball and just getting in, but you can also hurt your opponent, and this is crucial. So many players have either one or the other. They can either drive through the ball but they can't create spin, or they can create spin but they can't drive. And when you watch Nadal's backhand, he's been able to do both. Whether he's 10 feet behind the baseline, grinding, using topspin on his backhand, or when he has to step in and crush a backhand, he can do both. So let's get started on thing number one. The very first thing I want to point out is his grip setup. Now you're probably saying, hey, well, do I really want to change my grip? Well, if you try this out, you can still do it without the grip setup, but the grip setup allows him to create this topspin and drive. And so what I mean by grip setup, he has what I would consider almost like an Eastern type backhand or a really strong continental grip. So from here, he's here. His racket face is closed. So you can really almost, not a full Eastern backhand which would be here, but very, very close to it. And his top hand is in a semi-Western grip. And so with this combination, you see him taking the racket back and the racket's closed, okay? What I like to kind of make the similarity to, it's really almost like a left-handed forehand as he's taking it back and having it closed. Doing this allows him to do a couple things. It really allows him to drop the wrist under the ball extremely well. You'll see sometimes where I've seen amazing pictures where he's hitting a ball up here and he's dropping his wrist and then allowing his racket to go up to the ball. Having that grip set up really works for him. If you had more of, let's say, a continental and an Eastern grip, you can drop, but you can see there's almost some limitations in how my wrist is bowing to have that happen compared to having it into almost a soft Eastern backhand grip and a semi-Western. You can get a really big range on this, which allows you to both create a lot of topspin and still have the drive. Number two, you see Nadal use his body very well. Even if he's stepping in, he always does a really good job of taking the racket back and having great separation. Why is this important? Well, I want to talk about something called natural and unnatural states of the body, meaning that having your body like this is a natural state, meaning that your body doesn't want to do anything. An unnatural state would be like this. The thing I think about is like if you've ever done like the Russian twists where you're touching and touching and touching, that creates tension here, which makes you want to come back to the middle. And so when he goes back, it's almost like doing a Russian twist. He's taking his shoulders back against his hips versus taking both his hips and shoulders back, and there's no tension. And this is one of the biggest things I see a lot of players doing. They turn to the side, there's no tension, and then what happens is they have to muscle over with their hands and arms. A third and final thing that I see Nadal do really well is as he's dropping, he brings his racket up to contact and then he drives through the ball. A lot of times you'll see his, well, not his left arm, my left arm, his right arm extending through the contact. And so the combination of coming up and extending through creates a drive, a ball with drive and spin, and this is key. Now that you understand these three concepts, we need to start doing some drills to work on them. So the very first drill we're going to do is just getting, and I'm going to use the setup that Nadal's using, just using that setup. And a great way of finding this, I like this. I had a friend teach me this. This is awesome, by the way. Tuck the racket on your armpit and just grab it. And it puts my hand in this position, and then I add the semi-Western grip from here. Now the first drill I want to do is just simply get you used to taking your wrist and dropping it very low. Okay, just practice this. Taking your racket back and then being able to drop the wrist. And a lot of times when you take the racket back like this, if you relax a little bit, it's going to help, but then you're going to have to do some manipulation of taking the racket low. And so a way I like thinking about this is taking and just almost like waving with the racket. And so what this does is when I take the racket back and I'm about to start uncoiling my swing, I can drop the racket as low as I want to create the topspin. So just practice taking the racket back and dropping. Okay, taking the racket back and dropping. And this is very segmented. What we'd actually like is to take it back here and then right before we drop, boom, boom. So there's a very almost stretching of the muscles here so you can release up to the ball. And so that's another element that he's using. Back, stretch, release. okay? But you gotta get this part. Too many players, when they're hitting their backhand, they're going straight here. And that's not bad either. You see some great players that can really drive through the ball. But again, they're driving through the ball. And in this video, we're gonna talk about creating topspin and drive, which adds that margin of safety to your backhand while penetrating the court. And so just practice here, 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 okay? And you saw there, I dropped it here, here, and I'm stopping at contact. Now, one key that you can really do is what I call knocking the calf, okay? So from this position here, I'll go here and I'll knock my calf a little bit. Go back, knock the calf, okay? Go back, knock the calf. Go back, knock the calf. That is a sensory kind of feeling you can have where you don't have to look down and see how low it's dropping. If you're knocking the calf, it's getting that low. And then you just pull the racket off your body and do the exact same thing without knocking your calf, and now you know it's there. The second drill I want you to do is start creating more separation between your upper and lower half. And so the way I want you to do this is I want you to stand just straight up. You don't even need your racket. And all I want you to do is think about a Russian twist. And so normally you would do this kind of drill on the floor and you're like touching, you're working your abs. Ooh, yeah, work those abs. But what I want you to do is think about a Russian twist like this. I'm touching the side. And when I'm sitting on normally the ground doing this, what's happening is my hips aren't moving. I'm not going like this. And so you can see my hips moving. I'm just going here, here, here. But we're only gonna do it to the backhand side. So I'm gonna go here. Okay? Now, what you're gonna feel, the sensation you're gonna feel here is that when I reach back to do that twist and touch, you have this coiling sensation right here. That's what you want. You should feel that. So I want you to do that 5 times. So 1 and 2 and 3. It's like aerobic class. And 4 and 5. Now grab your racket and do the exact same thing. So you're going and 1. Okay? And you can see and feel the stretch because now you have some stretch that you can use to hit back into the ball. What Nadal will also do is load his legs as he's doing the stretch. So now he's combining the load of his legs and the separation of the upper body from the lower body, creating that tension. So now if we combine drill 1 and 2, it's gonna go load and stretch, or drop, sorry. So we're gonna go back and drop, making sure that when I'm in this position, I have the stretch. Now I'm using a semi-open stance, which Nadal does. He's famous for using semi-opens on his backhand. Even if I, let's say, squared up and had more of a neutral stance, I can still get that stretch, and it's really important. One little distinction, this little different, I'll back up so you can see, is making sure that my toes facing slightly in the court and not this way. Because if I stretch this way, you don't feel as much stretch. But even with the Russian twist, I feel a little bit. But if I open that toe a little bit, ooh, that stretch just went up about 10, 20%. That stretching feeling is what we're storing some energy that we can release into the ball. Now, the final thing is making sure they're driving through contact. And so what you'll see Nadal doing as he's dropping, he starts pulling his racket up and he has this racket face flush. And this is, I think, one of the hardest concepts for players when they're using this type of setup because they see the racket close and like, how am I gonna go from here to here? And that drop helps you assist in opening the racket face. So when you start driving forward, the racket face is here and you see that left arm extend through the ball. So what I want you to do is simply drop, drive, and extend the stop. And this is where you can use a ball to do it, is that I'll start right here. Let me scoot this out of the way. And all I'm gonna do is drop and drive. And you can see how extended that left arm is, okay? So I'll go drop and drive, okay? So there, I need to open my racket face a little bit, drop and drive. And so the more I drop, the more I can drive, or I shouldn't say the more I can drive, the more I drop, the more topspin I get. But if I drive with the left arm, I get the combination of both of those. And you can see how I'm just holding it out there, okay? Really pushing through the ball. And hopefully you can see how heavy this ball is. It's because I'm driving through it with spin. And now from here, after you've driven through the ball, just relax and let it come around if you want. You see sometimes players will hit here and they'll just kind of relax from there. But if you want to bring it all the way around, that's fine. The key is on the third part, just letting it come around. It's just you're decelerating. There's nothing else to do. The ball's already gone. So there's no need to do this. A big mistake players tend to do is what I call is being too active at contact. So what they see Nadal do is drop and they think he's going windshield wiper drive and brushing over. On some balls, he may see him do a little extra, but on a lot of balls, what you see him do is the racket's coming up, being active here, but through contact, it's not as active anymore. And what I mean by active, it's not turning over as much because he wants to stay with the ball a little bit longer to drive through it. Unless he's trying to like just get it in because he's in a bad position. You'll see a lot of times when he drops, he drives through that. And that's how we get this shot to happen. Now let's use the ball machine to put everything together. Now it's really important you go through all these simple drills before we use the ball machine. And I'm gonna start off really slow, trying to gauge my racket face and everything. But as the ball comes out, you're gonna see me really trying to coil and create some separation and get the hands to drop and drive through the ball. So drop and drive. So as the ball comes, I'm gonna get my coil and then boom and drive. Now there, I gotta get more spin, so I'm gonna drop under. Okay, and so you can really see how I'm really driving that hand out. And so as the ball comes, driving the hand out, if I wanna relax at the end, I can come all the way around. But it's really important, oh yeah, that drop is getting the spin like that and the drive is going out. Compared to what you see some players going, ugh, that took so much work and I got so little return, where they're just windshield wiping over the ball. You're missing out on that drive of the ball. And this is now how you can start having a backhand that's dependable, but can also hurt your opponent. He can move back and go heavy and send it back, but he can also move in and drive through the ball. And with these techniques, now you can do that. Now that you understand how to use Nadal's backhand, I think there's a lesson you can learn from his footwork that'll also take your game to the next level. And you can learn about that in this video right here.